All right, Buckeyes fans, it's going to get really real here for the Ohio State Buckeyes over the course of the next 3 weeks. Starting off with our first Big Ten matchup between Ohio State and Michigan State on Saturday night, 7:30 p.m. Anthony Maglin here with you for another quick game segment on the Ohio State Buckeyes on SI YouTube channel. And tonight, we're talking about this big 3-game stretch that Ohio State's about to start, featuring Michigan State, a home game against Iowa, then your biggest road test in a long time when they head out west to take on Big Ten opponent, the Oregon Ducks. I'm excited to get back into this stretch of football here, where we're talking about Big Ten matchups, especially after what we saw last weekend and some of the fun games that really took place, starting with Illinois versus Nebraska out in Lincoln under the lights on Friday night, an overtime game where the stars shone bright. Dylan Raiola was fantastic. Brett Bielema and the Fighting Illini just came in, were gritty as heck, and escaped Nebraska with a massive overtime victory. And then flipping over to Saturday, you got Washington beating the brakes off on Northwestern. You got Michigan escaping somehow, some way, when they only threw the ball for 32 total yards, but they escaped with a victory over USC in a game where it truly was a welcome to the Big Ten moment for the USC Trojans. And then you had a bunch of other games throughout the conference that were just really cool. Indiana going out to UCLA. So some new brands starting to face off against each other. And Ohio State's going to get their first taste of that here in a couple weeks. But first, they got to take care of business, starting with Michigan State in a game where they're 24.5-point favorites and really, truly going to be the better team, both on paper and on the grass. Come Saturday evening. We do know, if college football to this point has told us anything, that it doesn't matter who the better team is before the kickoff happens. But once that clock starts ticking, the Buckeyes do have to show it on the field, and I do believe that they will. They're kind of they've been challenged by their coaching staff off of a weird, and they ended up winning against Marshall, but it didn't feel right. And I think they're going to come back incredibly motivated to take care of business in East Lansing. And then after that, they come home for what's going to be a huge game against the Iowa Hawkeyes. Sure, a couple weeks back, Iowa fell in upset fashion to their interstate rival, the Iowa State Cyclones. But Iowa has shown that not only are they a good team and tough, just like they always are, but they have a pulse on offense this year, which is going to make for an exciting matchup. They're coming in to the Horseshoe here in 2 weeks for a game against Ohio State, where they're going to be certainly looking to play spoiler. And then in 3 weeks here, Ohio State gets on the plane, heads out west, all the way to the Pacific Northwest, to Eugene, Oregon, a small town of Eugene, and where they're going to take on the Oregon Ducks, who through the first couple weeks looked to be fraudulent. And then they go into their rivalry week against Oregon State. They go up to take on the Beavers, and they looked the part. They looked like one of the premier teams in all of college football, and they're certainly going to be they certainly have that game circled, and they're going to look to put on their best performance. And then after that, Ohio State's rewarded with a bye week. So a very huge and important 3-week stretch here where Ohio State can really empty the tank and give it all they got to get out of this stretch 3-0 and get set for what's going to be an incredible finish to the year. But we're not talking finishes to the year. We've got so much more football left for you, and we're going to be bringing it to you all year long on this here YouTube channel, Ohio State Buckeyes on SI. Please like and subscribe for all your news, analysis, highlights, and more. We got it covered wall to wall. But for the written content, head over to our site, si.com/college/Ohio State for all things Buckeyes. But for tonight, appreciate you jumping in and talking about our Buckeyes as we get you set for Saturday night's matchup between the Michigan State Spartans and the Ohio State Buckeyes, 7:30 p.m. in East Lansing.